yourself in an unsecure world. My project centered on building a home secure network, which I dubbed the HSN, not to be confused with the Home Shopping Network, even though I clearly stole their logo there. I wanted to see how vulnerable my network would be and put security measures in place for protection. Coming into this project, I had nothing, no VPN, no firewall, no antivirus, nothing but Wi-Fi and a password that our household would share with our visiting family and friends. Initially, I had no idea where to begin. My research was leading me down several rabbit holes, and I felt like I was running in circles. That's actually me. It's a picture. So throughout the duration of the course, I was using the VM in our modules. So I figured I should probably install some packages on my own personal computer. I installed Homebrew, then Nmap. Next, I installed ZenMap by running brew install ZenMap. Completing these commands ensures I receive updates and dependencies automatically. Switching gears, I moved over to Wireshark and began filtering Wireshark packets or captured packets. So I filtered these ports here. TCP port 80 showed all the packets using port 80. Next, I filtered TCP packets using TCP there. Same thing here with frame lens. And then, so yeah, I won't bore you by reading every single one, but there was a lot of them. Here's a TCP packet. Actually, I lost the page that I'm on. Give me 1 second here. So I use timestamp filter, IP source, IP destination filter. Finally, payload here showed all TCP packets that contained all HTTP in the payload. Then it was time to check for errors. I ran 10 filters. I won't spend time reading all those either, but here's a list of the filters I ran with a few of the screenshots to match. As I'm sure you noticed with all my Wireshark samples, were filtered with TCP. As a reminder, TCP is connection-oriented, while UDP is connectionless. TCP works well for applications that require high reliability, while UDP works well for applications that prefer higher speed over reliability, such as video games and video streaming. Yeah, here's some screenshots, not necessarily relevant to this presentation, but I spent a lot of time, struggling with them. So you can take a peek at those right there. Highlighted text above shows what are running on the computer, the ports, followed by the protocol in an open state, running a few different services, including MySQL and real-time streaming protocol, MySQL X, unknown. At this point, I changed gears. I wanted to see if I even had a firewall turned on my computer. And wouldn't you know, I didn't. I flipped the switch on my Mac OS as well as on my router. More to come on that. I went to check my remote management as well as my remote login preferences. Remote management allows other users to access your computer. Remote login lets users of other computers access your computer using SSH and SFTP. Thankfully, I already had these options disabled. So I learned that hackers will drive around neighborhoods and search for open and unsecured networks for potential exploitation. This is called war driving. If you have a default setting on your router, you're an easy target. You might want to make sure you change your SSID and password from its original out-of-box settings. War driving is a form of reconnaissance. Here's a screenshot of my router. I had the default router username and password on there, so I made sure to change that. I don't know if this router looks familiar. I'm pretty sure this was one of them I had growing up in my house, but I learned that every single one of these routers had blank default username and password was admin. So remote administration was likely turned off by default, but still not a great look there. Here I had the DMZ, and actually within the router's configuration, I had the option to enable the DMZ state, but after some research, I found that I should only enable the DMZ state for a short period of time as a troubleshooting measure. And by doing so, it places the LAN outside of the firewall. Next, I enabled stealth mode. A little more protection from hackers and scanners and nosy neighbors. Something I always wanted to do but never got around to it until this project was setting up a guest Wi-Fi network. So guest networks and home networks have different SSIDs. The guest network was only has access to the internet and not devices on the home network as shown in the diagram. Several benefits of having a separate Wi-Fi network for your visitors, some of which include enhanced security, protection from IoT devices, simplified guest access, performance management, and reduced risk of accidental, sorry, my screen went black on me. Give me 1 second here, apologize. What's going on? Murphy's Law kicking in right here. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. Yeah, so the last one was reduced risk of accidental access. Then had IDS, IPS, so intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention system, some things I was reviewing here. So these two systems work together to analyze, detect, and respond to potential threats before they can cause harm. IDS is good for detection, analysis, alerting, and IPS is good for prevention, enforcement, and mitigation. There's a diagram there of the differences. That's the wrong IPS there, Doug Heffernan. But yeah, consider adding a home network router dedicated to protecting your LAN. Purchase or build a router with at least 2 ports, input and output, and another LAN port for local management is also good. These devices can be costly, but protecting yourself is priceless. I would have loved to have one of these bad boys ordered and installed by the time of this presentation. But I'm just a boot camp student after all, and I haven't landed my first cybersecurity job, but I do plan on getting one in the near future, one of these home network routers. During this project here, I signed up for a VPN. I went to Surfshark for that. And then I also have an antivirus software in place. So feeling more secure than before. I guess you could say I'm no longer feeling insecure about my network. As mentioned at the beginning, my goal of this project was to set up a secure home network in order to protect myself and my family from various threats and hackers. I began this project with little to no security measures in place and I completed it feeling a lot more secure and have a lot more knowledge on the subject now thanks to it. I hope this helps some fellow students who may have been in the same boat. Helped you guys maybe to develop a plan to also secure your own home network if it was as weak as mine was. So in conclusion, you're only as strong as your weakest hyperlink. That sounded better in my head. So to be a solid cybersecurity engineer, protection begins at home with yourself. Just like how you're instructed on an airplane, you got to put your oxygen mask on first. Once you're secure, you can effectively help others in need, or you can just hack them, whatever you're into. So this concludes my presentation. Thanks for your time.
Nice job.
Nice job. Very nice job.
Yay.
Now, did you go the path of setting up a work VLAN also?
I didn't get to that point, but I did some research on that. But yeah, I know I need to do that because I work from home.
Yeah, it's recommended if you work from home to have your work stuff on a separate VLAN.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, like David, I really see you like within 3 years you're saying that you're gonna be looking for a job now, but I'm telling you you're gonna be in charge, like C-suite. You're gonna be like the chief information security guy at one of these top Fortune 500 companies. So let's say maybe Fortune 100 or Fortune 50. So I think you're gonna be very rich doing this. Yeah, just keep on
Well,
pursuing.
my wife will be happy to hear that. So thank you.
It's already there, bro.
Nice
Yeah, I
job.
think, yeah.
Appreciate that.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.